let them know who we are.
Let them know.
And then you follow up, and then we do some other things and dick around, and then we have at it.
I'm really glad this is recording right now. I want to keep that in.
All right, so then let's officially do it. Welcome to the Rap Thought Podcast with Brandon and Matthew. Here we are today doing our thing that we do every week, every Wednesday. And, you know, from here on out, two Saturdays out of the month, we'll be dropping a little something extra for you.
A little bonus episode.
A little bonus something.
Yeah, and the Rap Thought Podcast, if this is your first time listening, we break down new and old hip-hop albums track by track, and we incite conversation and thoughts about those albums and what we get out of the lyrics and what our interpretation is.
Mm-hmm. I mean, to add to that, if this is your first time, definitely, I'm not going to say don't breeze over other episodes because it's like, I don't really know who that artist is, so I'm not interested. Like, that's the whole point of this, is that we both are, some of these albums are people that we haven't heard before, or you have heard that I haven't, or I've heard that you haven't. And, you know, that's the whole point.
Exactly.
We just break it down and talk about it.
And for me, I think it's cool to listen to an episode of an artist or about an album that you haven't listened to yet, and then you listen to it, and then it makes you hyped to go listen to it. Mm-hmm. So if you're like that, this is a great podcast to listen to, because I'm sure we're going to cover albums and artists that you haven't heard of, or you haven't heard a particular album, but you may have seen it around. So, you know, click on an episode. Don't just click on the Eminem episode. We see you out there. We know what you're doing.
You guys really like the Eminem episode.
We've gotten better since the Eminem episode. Mm-hmm. You know, we've honed our craft, so to speak.
And still continuing to improve.
Yeah. So, yeah, challenge yourself to listen to an episode about an album that you have no idea about, and you might be surprised. It might make you really want to listen to that album, and then all of a sudden you love it, and you had no idea that it was that great.
And on the other side, it may make you not want to listen to an album. Like DaBaby, we did that one, and it wasn't quite our cup of tea, but we gave you an objective review. We didn't shit on it, and
well, maybe it'll motivate them to listen to it, to then shit on our opinion and make fun of us for our horrible take on DaBaby.
I welcome that. I'm all right with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
definitely come to shit on us. That's cool. Come shit on us. But yeah, so for this week's episode, we're doing Queen Latifah's Black Reign. And, man.
And you've heard this album previously. I have not.
Yeah, so what I did was a couple years back when I was getting tired of the radio, I just looked up like top hip-hop albums. Queen Latifah was on there, amongst others. And that's when I started listening to it. I haven't listened to her other projects, though, but this did make me want to look at her other stuff.
Gotcha.
So but I mean, Queen Latifah is she's pretty out there and pretty famous.
Yeah, she's very well known. I always knew about her.
Yeah.
I knew she was a hip-hop artist. I knew her more from her movies that she's done. And she's done a lot of movies, and she's done TV shows. And I knew she was well respected in the hip hop world. Like other legends and other, top tier rappers always gave props to Queen Latifah.
And we see that one of the tracks too.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that.
And I just never felt motivated to go back and listen to one of her albums. And it has nothing to do with, I don't think she's going to be good because she's a female rapper.
Whoa, no one even said that.
No one said that. I'm saying... It's not that, because I'm sure there are people out there who are like, oh, female rapper, whatever. But I actually really like female rappers, and I listen to a lot of it. But I looked at her more of as a movie star than a rapper at that, when I'm in high school in the early 2000s. Mm-hmm. I'm not thinking of her as this hardcore backpacker hip hop rapper that she showcases on this album.
I remember, I was a kid in the 90s, so I remember Living Single. I didn't really watch it, but I remember the intro. I know a couple episodes and everything. So just from that intro, I was like, man, I bet, in retrospect, I was like, man, I bet she'd be cool to listen to.
Yeah.
But yeah, her nowadays, she's more known for her acting and TV shows than she is for
And
albums.
she's a good actress too. Like she's funny and she can do drama, and yeah, I think she's great at all the things that she's done.
You see Bringing Down the House or Hairspray?
I've seen what was it, The Last Holiday? That was one of her movies.
She's also in Barbershop.
Yeah. She's had a lot of cameos,
Yeah.
like quick little scenes in a lot of movies.
She's been around, but yeah, I definitely remember her from Living Single. So, but yeah, I mean, personally, I'm always curious about artist names. So she was born Dana Elaine Owens, 318 and 70. That's crazy that she's 50 years old at this point.
Yeah.
She's from Newark, New Jersey, and she has a Hollywood star. Got it in 2006.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible to go from, like, if you look at this album cover, I don't think you would look at this and be like, okay, yeah, she's going to be an actress and a famous, person around the world.
No.
Like, no, that's a hardcore, aggressive rapper cover.
I mean, from the album cover, I believe this stuff that she says in her raps. And
Right.
yeah, definitely. And then just the way that she is now, it's not from the cover to who she is or how she is perceived now. It seems like two different people. But, it's not to say that this is a hardcore album or anything. Like, it's very low key and it's a solid album. It's really good.
I was shocked. Obviously, we're going to get into it more, but I was pleasantly surprised with this album because I had no expectations. I had no idea what it was going to sound like, what kind of beats she was going to use, what kind of rapping she was going to do. It was just, it definitely came out of left field for me and what I expected.
From her acting career, did that have put any type of influence on you going into the album?
No, because I knew she had a hip hop career before acting, so I knew she comes from that. So I expected it to be good at the least, because of, like I said before, because of all the respect she gets from other hip hop artists. So I knew she had skill and she made good music. I just didn't know how great of an album this was going to be.
Fair enough. So, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess we hop in and
yeah, let's hop. Well, before we hop in, I think we need to keep I got to call you out on this one. We got to keep some transparency with the listeners. So typically we choose an album out of the hat if it's an older album. This album, we did not choose out of a hat.
Yes, we did.
No, I received a text from you.
Because I did it randomly.
When did you do that?
What?
You did that?
Yeah, we were talking about, pick up another album for Friday. So there was a noticeable pause in the text message, right? It's probably because I went on Google.
I thought you just texted me like, we're doing this album.
No, I randomly selected it. So,
Okay.
No, but I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go on with the call out.
I was going to say,
Proceed.
typically we choose a random album, and I receive a text from Brandon that just says Queen Latifah Black Reign. So I'm like, oh, he must have really just wants to do this album. Because usually we choose the album after an episode.
And usually, but like we still kind of did. But go on.
In my head, I was like, oh, Brandon really wants to do this album. He's like, fuck, we need a female rapper.
Dude, I have been trying to do this one for
Brandon has been advocating to get a female rapper on an episode for a long time. So.
Yeah, man. The industry's just overpopulated with male rappers. I mean, it's all day. And that actually remind me of another thing. I feel like the stereotype with female rappers is always promoting their body or something like that. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I think of Foxy Brown. I think of I don't think of Eve. I think Foxy Brown. I think of what's her name? Anaconda. Anaconda.
Oh, Nicki Minaj.
Nicki Minaj.
How do you forget Nicki Minaj?
Megan Thee Stallion. And
Cardi B.
And like it's and
there's other female dope rappers out
MC
there.
MC Light, Rhapsody,
The Brat. You got what's her name?
Gangsta Boo.
What's her name? Remy Ma. Mm-hmm. She can spit.
Yeah, and so that we're acknowledging that they're out there, but I feel like the industry is just the ones that get the most attention are the ones that put their bodies out there. And so with Queen Latifah, it's cool because she has a prominent name to her, and as we go through the album, she's very pro women, very strong, very just doesn't take shit from dudes. Just it's a good message, I feel, that should be sent to women, because if you rely on male rappers out there, there's the argument that they degrade women, they're misogynistic, all this and that. But Queen Latifah comes in with like this is how we're going to react to that and set this precedence.
She almost comes in and is just calling everyone out, all the men out, especially in the hip hop industry. It's like, look, you can't treat us like that. And she's not asking you to treat like that. She's telling you.
She's not giving you an option. She's telling you. It's a directive. Like this is how you're actually going to do. And if you do that, I'm out. You didn't talk to the face, and then I'm out.
Yeah, she will fight you. She's not afraid to throw down.
You can get socked out.
So with that said, you can get socked out with the black hand side.
I mean, it's not the right reference, but I guess that works. I see you out there.
I'm trying to catch up to Brandon with his segues.
Yeah, my segues are great. Third single off the album. I didn't catch what the first one was. I got the third and the second, but third single. But I mean, I want to say that the album, it starts you off with just, as I say, hip hopping. Like, it's just this intro of kind of setting the groundwork of, hey, I'm here to rap, I'm good.
A lot of battle raps in the first couple of tracks.
Putting MCs in their place.
As soon as this song played, as soon as I heard the beat, I was like, okay, I'm gonna love this album. I knew just the way with this, how this started out, because I love this sound. I love the 90s boom bap sound, and the way she's spitting on it is incredible.
Her flow is great.
Yeah, I love that style of rapping. So, and it's not too in your face. It's not like, you can understand everything she's saying, and she has messages in it, and she has context to it. So yeah, right away I was like, okay, I'm gonna love this.
I agree with you that that bass line to the track, and there's just something special about 90s hip hop when you have someone that has like this really good flowing voice and to these types of beats. This is throughout the whole album. I can't think of a track where I was like, I'm skipping over that. And it's a cool track. But she does a shout out to her brother. Her brother passed away in a motorcycle accident that she bought for him. And a cool piece of trivia is that she wears a necklace with the key to the motorcycle around her neck that she wore on Living Single, and didn't mean to say Living Color. And it's really sad. I'm sure she dealt with a lot of stuff going through that. That's pretty heavy to experience something like that, to lose a family member from something that you purchased for them or you gave to them. And if I remember right, and I think it might be from 444, Magna Carta Holy Grail, but Jay-Z shares a similar story about either a cousin, I think it was, that he bought him a car and that dude got in an accident and died. And so, I think it would be pretty shitty. Like, you finally get up and out to do something and you start throwing out to family members, and then there's like a sense of, man, I contributed to their death. And it's totally inadvertent. Yeah.
And she also references drinking and smoking, how she used to drink 40s and then now she switched to smoking weed out of a pipe. And she would go on, I read that she would go on to go through some drug addictions with dealing with her brother's death after this album. So it's interesting that she kind of referenced that, and not necessarily saying that she has a problem in the song yet, but it's there. You can kind of see, like, for her, it's like little signs that there could be addiction coming.
And I like that. I like when artists share nuggets about their personal life and how they're like, it's genuine things that impacted them. So, I was reading that, I believe in 96, she was busted for possession of marijuana, and when she got pulled over, and so just kind of talking about how it's affected her, and kind of things like that. It's pretty cool to hear.
Yeah,
because real talk. So she's not to be fucked with. Definitely in that track either.
No,
just definitely.
She's going hard. Yeah. She's got a lot of energy. She's coming at you.
Listen to Me, next track, and to kind of incorporate it's I wouldn't say the album, no, it flows really well, but there's elements that cross every single track. So in the first couple ones, she's kind of talking herself up, like you can really just sense the confidence in her.
Yeah.
And then with that confidence, with Listen to Me, you get the sense that like everyone's listening to her, regardless of where on the earth you are, East Coast, West Coast, this country, this continent, that continent. She has your respect, and you have her ears. She has your ears.
I think what's also really cool is she says that she's confident in herself and her skills, but then also she's grateful and humble at the same time. Because she goes on to say, and even if you think it's odd, I'm telling you, after every single rhyme, I thank God for giving me the power to make your heads nod. So she's aware that, there's something higher than her, and she's not saying she's above everyone else. She's just saying she's confident in herself. She has skills, and she'll out-rap anyone, but she's still thankful for their ability to do that.
Yeah, and it's cool because it fits in with the time. Like, I mean, when we did Return of the Boom Bap by KRS-One, that's like just that era of just you come in as an MC and just doing your thing and putting other MCs on blast.
Yeah, it's a competitive sport.
It is, and it's really
back
cool because it really, as you kind of come out of the 90s, it's not that direct. It's more, I don't know if I want to say beef oriented, but like a lot of the stuff that KRS-One or Queen Latifah, these two, for example, it's not directed at a specific person. It's just, as you said, that competitive nature between this art.
Because, in that time and in that area, there's a lot of battle raps and there's ciphers where you get in a circle with 10 other MCs and you guys just rap. And you're not trying to personally diss the other person. You might say a rap about them, but that's just part of the art form. It's not to start beef. It's just to showcase your skills. And that's what she's doing. She's showcasing her ability to put words together. I really like the Jamaican flow on the chorus when she brings in her Jamaican accent. I love when she does that. I think it's great. It fits really well with the music. The
whole thing's cool, and she kind of brings another reggae tone to a couple more tracks during the album, which is cool.
Similar to what KRS-One does.
Yeah, she brings a really cool jazz and reggae influence and kind of a gospel thing to it as well. Yeah. And I really like the way that she can rap, but then brings in some singing as well too. It's a cool mix, and it's a hip hop album and not overbearing with singing. Not that she wouldn't mind it, but she went R&B for a little bit. And I like the kind of mix, more 90-10 hip hop to R&B.
Yeah, I agree. On some of the songs, she sings the chorus, and she's a great singer, and it sounds awesome. I love when she does that. When it's, like you said, she spits 3 verses, but then sings the chorus in between the verses. I think that's the perfect combination.
I think it's perfect. I think we get it, but there's some people that can't understand. I can't understand. Track number 3. And this one was interesting because, as I've listened to this album quite a bit, but I didn't know that this was a semi diss track. So there was
especially the first verse.
Yeah. And what she does in a couple tracks is each verse is different. Sometimes it's not a continuation of one theme. It starts with one thing, then it jumps to another thing, then it jumps to a different thing, but it all has to do with the same concept. It's just different areas. Right. So for this one, I Can't Understand, she starts off responding to Roxanne Shantae's Big Mama, her track. And I took a listen to it, and I haven't heard of Roxanne Shante, but she had some bars in there. She was cool. But yeah, just kind of responded to that and just saying like, you're this. I don't remember what she really said, but but yeah, she just responded to that. And then the second verse, completely different direction. She's talking about a dude that she had feelings for, and she was doing his laundry, and all of a sudden this number falls out, and she's like, "What the fuck?" Yeah, it's pretty fucked. Do you do your own laundry, or do you separate? Have some tasks. Will your girl do your laundry for you?
We switch off. It's kind of whenever it needs to be done, we'll do each other's.
That's cool. I couldn't do that only because I'm not trying to lose my socks. So like I'm not throwing my socks in with your laundry.
Right. No, we put all of ours together. We just do it together.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah. And kind of questioning, he has a side chick, and I don't know. He was down with OPP. Damn, I was gonna listen to that song again before I.
That's a classic.
It's a good song, but I was totally gonna listen to it.
Yeah. No, and I think what's cool about the second verse is that it's kind of funny. The first verse, she's responding to a diss and she's going back at Roxanne. But then in the second verse, she's kind of being vulnerable and letting you in on something bad that happened to her that left her in a bad place. Like she got cheated on.
Mm-hmm. But something that's relatable too.
Right.
People get cheated on all the time.
Right, but it's just funny to go from a diss to I'm being cheated on, right after one another. It's interesting. It takes you to a totally different place.
Agreed. And then third verse, she kind of questions things in life. Like, why do the good people do bad? Why do the good people do bad things? Why do whites fight blacks? And, at the end of this, after all three verses, it's basically a track about like, I can't understand why this shit happens. Like this dude that I liked, we really hit it off. Things were cool, but he did this shit. Can't understand why it happens. Can't understand why all these things, these shitty things in the world happen. I can't understand why this chick's dissing me, but it is what it is. But I love the beat to it. This is probably my second favorite.
Yeah,
track
this is a great beat. And the producers on it are incredible. I don't know if they continue to produce for more artists after this, but they're
one of them. I looked up Tony.
Oh,
Don
DeFette.
Yeah,
like that.
I looked him up. He's done quite a bit of work. He's worked with Method Man. He's worked with
Queen Mary J. Blige.
Worked with Mary J.
Yeah.
He's done quite a bit of work, but it doesn't seem like there's anything current, like after 2005 or 6.
Yeah.
And a lot of the work is on this album too. He's featured quite a bit on here. So, but yeah, definitely dope track. Rough. Track 4. I like this one.
Yeah, this is a really dope beat. I love the feature of Naughty by Nature and Karis One. It's definitely your quintessential battle rap track. Each person's going in, talking their shit. And Queen Latifah definitely keeps her own against, some of the best rappers in the game.
That's for damn sure. I mean, it's a trip because you think of for each decade or maybe even every 5 years or so, who would be the top MCs or rappers of that time, and then them getting on a track together and just kind of having at it and doing their thing. And you don't really see that nowadays.
No, when was the last one? Like Forever with Drake, Eminem.
Just like a bunch of big names, like Kanye, the people at the top, and Lil Wayne at their time and getting together and doing a track.
Right.
And so it's what's cool.
Well, there's the one produced by Premier with Rakim, Nas, Kanye, and Karis One.
I'm gonna have to listen to that.
Oh, it's a classic.
But this one's cool because I feel like I'll say it, man. Like I feel like female rappers are the underdogs of the rap industry, and so when you have, whether if you agree with it or not, like Queen Latifah comes in and is holding bars with all these people, and they're all set in stone. They're all going to be greats, Hall of Famers, and she's holding it down with them. And it sounds very natural she's up there. There's no reason to not consider her with them.
Yeah, and she's aggressive too. One of her lines is, "So go pray, now you pay because I don't fucking play. Matter of fact, I think Ice-T, he put it just right. You diss me on record, see me, fight." She's saying, if you diss me, I'm going to punch you in your face as soon as I see you.
Let's go.
And, I can see how some people wouldn't want that type of lyrics or music from a female. You know, she's being aggressive and manly, and you know, she's not being feminine, but that's just where she grew up. That's what she grew up around. Mm-hmm. And she goes on to talk about that later on, but that's her environment. And that's how, and in hip hop, it is competitive. So you kind of have to match that energy, just like Nicki Minaj has aggressive tracks.
But that's the question right there, is if these female rappers are supposed to be if they're stereotyped as like too sexualized. Mm-hmm. As she had a feud with Foxy Brown, and that's what a lot of her diss tracks incorporated. But then she's acting too masculine, because that's what all the other male rappers are doing. Like, where's the middle ground? What does a female rapper rap about and be accepted? I think
this album perfectly finds the middle ground. From the beginning of the album, the first 4 or 5 tracks, to the last 3 or 4, she completely switches it up. And towards the end of the album, when we get to it, she's going to become a lot more feminine. So she definitely brings both sides to her to this album.
She was described as a feminist rapper. And I mean, I'm not really one for labels as it is, but I agree with you that I like the way that she does it, because as we mentioned earlier, she brings a flavor that's a little different than other artists by being in that middle ground, but being like very pro women and just bringing a perspective that you don't really consider, which is really cool. So, but yeah, like we said, you know, the first couple tracks, it's really just like cementing herself, letting you know she ain't to be played with and stuff like that. And I'll say it again, she really brings the flavor. And as the title implies for this track, she brings the flavor. Yeah. And that's one of her come-ups was a flavor unit, which is just a label that she produced things from. Okay. I didn't see if that was a group. It didn't pop up with anything. But no, it is, because there's other artists that one dropped a song called Apache, which she mentions quite a few times in this album. But yeah, that's just another one of these songs though where she's just laying her stamp in the game and letting you know what's up.
She's letting you know she can flow, and you know, she's talking her shit. You know, it's a dope track.
Mm-hmm. So this is where it begins to start transitioning out of like I'm a dope MC, I'll whoop your ass kind of a thing with Coochie Bang.
Right. Yeah, it completely switches it up, and now all of a sudden she has a PSA announcement to let everyone know to practice safe sex.
How do you feel about that as a rap song?
I think for the time it made a lot of sense. Like that almost needed to be said in music, because at that time, obviously AIDS is you know, up and coming, and it's kind of a new thing, and people still don't really understand what it is. And I think, if Magic Johnson come out yet? That he was.
This is 93. I don't think he came out till 94. Don't quote me on that. But it was close.
And Magic Johnson helped a lot because he brought awareness to it and educated a lot of people. But yeah, I think it's great. I mean, it doesn't really fit with today because everyone knows today to wear condoms. Like, it's not a big deal. But I think for back then, it was a huge deal to be like, I'm not going to have sex with you unless you have a condom. So, like, you can leave.
And what I like, too, is that she says, you know, it doesn't matter who you are, how great you think you are or anything like that. Like, she doesn't give it up for anybody. Yeah. And she really makes that extremely clear. Yeah, and she brings it back
strong in that. She's strong in her convictions and her morals and her moral foundation. She doesn't sway for anyone.
Mm-hmm. And another part too is that she kind of this is how I interpreted it, is that I think of these dudes are like, hey man, just give it up, and she's like, no, and just kind of like, I don't want to hear any lip back, like you got my final answer, so nah, I'm not giving it up. So she says strap up or pack up. So
no, she also says, Let's talk about a Slim Jim Jimmy chance in hell. If you can't protect a peck, your chances fail.
Dude, that the
I
bars.
love that. Those are great bars. And if she referencing Wu-Tang, protect your neck with protect your peck.
Yes.
Damn, I love that. That's dope.
Bars. So she builds on top of that with Superstar. Mm-hmm. And this is another one of those where it has three different verses around the same thing. So, the first one talks about her going to the bar with some friends, makes eye contact with you. Matthew, have you done this where you're at the bar, you're looking at this girl, and you're like, yeah, hey, can you go over there and talk to her for me?
I've never had a friend talk to a girl for me.
Have you done that?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I think you've have someone go over there.
I've never done it. I'll just not talk to them. I'll wait for them to come over to me.
They ain't coming over to shit. So, but that's basically what her verse is. It's like, dude, you don't have to be.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool perspective for a woman who's in a place that she is. She's already dropped 2 hip hop albums. She's pretty high up in the world, so she's fairly famous, and she's like, dude, if you want to come talk to me, come talk to me.
You don't have to send the homie over, just do it. Like, and
she's letting you know that she's approachable.
Mm-hmm. And the whole point of the song is you don't have to be a superstar. You just just come up to me and talk. The next verse she's talking about, so the first one she's talking about just meeting the dude, just seeing him. And then the second verse has to do with like she's actually on a date. They're just going to the movies, and dude pulls up in a limo and showers her with gifts. And she's like, dude, we're just going to the movies. Like, what are you trying to? Are you trying to buy my affection, or what are you doing?
And she says like all she wants is good conversation. Mm-hmm. She's not trying to be wined and dined. She just wants to find a connection.
I like the line, all I might require from a man is intelligence, and all of them other material things is irrelevant. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was cool because, like you're saying, like she's a big name right now, but she's still really down to earth.
Yeah, she's mature. It's interesting because when I look at these lyrics, and then I listen to what the most popular female rappers are rapping about, like Cardi B and Nicki Minaj. I don't think you'll ever get this kind of
authentic, down to earth.
Yeah, just genuine thoughts. It's more like Nicki Minaj and Cardi B. Not to say that they're any less skilled or talented, but I feel like their lyrics are directed at a specific goal of promoting their own bodies and putting themselves above others. And talking about money and their status, as opposed to just connecting as a human with another human. Mm-hmm. It's never genuine like that.
And this is something that I feel is highly relatable. I mean, we've all been that person, whether if it's a bar or in high school or something, where there's someone, even in high school, like there's just that girl or that boy that's across the room, and it's like, man, like, I really want to talk to this person, but I can't. Like, I just don't. I mean, for the people that you have dated in the past, I mean, you think of it, knowing them now, I was like, yeah, I guess I didn't really have to go over the top to get their attention. Like, it really was just this simple, hey, maybe crack a joke and just showing them personality.
Right. I think, as you get older, you kind of realize that. You figure it out. You're like, oh, like, if you're a male and you're trying to get a female's attention, they really just want you to connect with them and talk with them and have a good conversation and be able to relate to them and listen. They don't need you to be driving a Mercedes.
Don't pull up in a limo either.
Right. And buy them a $500 bracelet on the first date. Mm-hmm. That to the right woman, that's not going to impress them because they know better. They know what you're trying to do.
Dude, that was good right there. To add to it, like, she also, I feel like it's a good message to dudes too, is like, yo, put the shyness, that's easier said than done, but definitely pride, like put that all to the side. Like, aside from materialistic things, you don't have to come over with this huge front to try and get someone's attention. Right. Just be real. And so you're just doing connecting.
It's a great message that she's putting forth. So the lines that I really like in this are, and I can do the crazy things I never thought I'd do. And maybe I can do all of those crazy things with you. But you ain't got to be no superstar, honey. All I want to find out is exactly who you are. Money ain't going to make me love you, and neither will your car. So I think those are really deep lines. She's down to do all the crazy things with you. And you don't have to be this superstar rich person. I just need to know who you are as a person. I need to be able to see you for who you really are. And then we can do all those crazy things.
And this comes up again in another track. So we'll definitely be talking about this again later on. But in the meantime, no work. Hip hopping.
Yeah.
Just she brings up references Flavor Unit again. Something that kind of struck me was just saying that she wouldn't step to another woman unless they had it common. But even if they did, she would want to bring it to her face. So you kind of get this sense of like she's just a very upfront and real person throughout the whole album. She's just super real. I don't think I want to piss her off.
Right. Yeah. She doesn't hide the fact that she's not for play, and she keeps the gun on deck.
It comes up again if you're questioning it too.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. But the flow. I like this track. And it's different.
I'm kind of surprised they put an interlude title to it. It's not really an interlude, like it's a song. She's rapping on it. I don't know, but it is dope.
I really like the style of it. It's just this very, like, how do you describe that? Like, I mean, she's just like kind of talking to you.
Yeah, and she's shouting out where she's from, and just kind of talking about New Jersey and things like that.
And it's just super mellow, but there's energy in her voice that carries you through it. You just, the beat's great. The beat's fantastic.
Yeah, really dope beat.
So, I mean, the note that I put down was like she's saying hi and just kind of having fun with it. So, I don't know. You just get this feel like kind of like just another day, just kind of flowing or something.
Well, not her. Just another day. She's got a whole different another day.
Right. And that's actually the second single, Just Another Day. And this one's a little different. And I like it for that reason. It, you kind of hear the artist talking about they go back to their hoods and it's all chronic and palm trees and everything's cool. But she doesn't paint that type of picture in this song. The first verse, she kind of goes back and acknowledges that she's a target. But I like how she's talking about how she basically has all types of protection, from a gun to condoms to all sorts of things. But
it's a really interesting track. I'm sure she has a lot of trauma or PTSD from living in that environment where she came from, because she says, she hears gunshots, but she's not leaving. She says, like, that doesn't faze me to hear gunshots going around me.
Yeah, it's nothing.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
You get a sense that she's appreciative of her background.
Yeah. She understands it's where she comes from and it's part of who she is, and she accepts it. But it doesn't come without. You can't live in that environment and have it not affect you in a negative way.
Oh, right. I mean, in the track, she talks about how she passed by a wake of a girl that got hit by a stray bullet. And then also, in the second verse, she's talking about, going from neighborhood to neighborhood, getting some food. She sees a wake for a girl that got shot. She also sees a kid that's getting arrested by an undercover detective. And, you get this, she paints a picture of this place that, she comes from a place where people dream quite a bit, because you get the sense that it's an impoverished place to be. And so people are dreaming of the day that they can get out. I was watching an interview with her, and she, in one of the neighborhoods that she's from, she bought this building because she was debating on between, should I buy a grocery store or should I buy it as something else? But I think she ended up going as a grocery store, but wanted to give back to the community. and everything. So I don't know.
Wow.
And along with that too, this, like I said, a track where she goes in 3 different directions, but in the last one she thanks the fans, and she does that because, as in the first verse, it's like, hey, I'm coming back to this place. Second verse, like, there's still the same shit happening from when I was first there. The third verse saying, if it weren't for you guys and this music, I wouldn't be able to live this new lifestyle and have the appreciation for where I came from and where I am now. So I thought that was a legit song.
Yeah, it is a great song. And I love the beat on it, and it kind of slows things down a little bit.
Way down.
And I love the singing on it during the chorus. It definitely brings you in to that environment a little bit, and kind of she's bringing you along for a day of where she's from. So you're kind of like walking next to her as she's talking to you.
It really is. I mean, from the feel of the song, it makes you feel like it's normal. Just another day living in the hood. The way it's saying, the beat that carries it, it's, as a listener, you're like, holy shit, like that should be.
Yeah, she's saying really crazy
beat.
stuff, but she's saying it in a calm way, and there's a calm beat. You're just like, wait, what?
Whoa,
what
like, okay, but it's just another day, so I guess, like, get used to it. Like, all right, I'm fine.
Yeah.
So it was cool. And, she continues going on just about things that really hit. The next track, if you've heard of the Queen Latifah track, this is probably it. UNITY, Unity. And this song won a Grammy, and rightfully so, for Best Rap Solo Performance in '93.
Yeah, it's an amazing song. She's speaking up for women, and she's challenging men to do better. And she does it in her own way, and she does it over a dope hip hop beat. And you can't help but listen to every word she's saying. Like she commands your attention with what she's trying to convey to you, and it's she's confident in it. I think that's what's great about her. She's not questioning herself in any way.
Dude, how about that sax in the background?
Yeah, dude, super dope.
It's crazy.
When she says, she's talking about this guy that touched her, like grabbed her ass or something when she was walking by.
Nasty.
And it goes, then the little one said, haha, yeah, me, bitch, and laughed. Since he was with his boys, he tried to break fly. Huh? I punched him dead in his eye and said, who you calling a bitch? Yeah. So, she's not for play, like we've said before. So, if you assault her or you call her a bitch, she's going to punch you in the face, and she's not going to take that from anyone.
It's really shitty to say, but women get sexually harassed all the time, whether if it's physical or verbal. And so, I wish women would hear more of this and feel that confidence to really swing back and put these people in their place. Because, I mean, you see videos all the time, or I'm sure women just live with it every day of, I have the right to wear these things. You don't get to, that doesn't give you permission to comment on it.
I think a lot of it has to do with, she talks about this, and I'll reference it, but how women a lot of times are very forgiving, and they're a little bit more kind-hearted, so they may not see what men are actually doing to them initially. So she goes on to say, I guess I fell so deep in love I grew dependency. I was too blind to see just how it was affecting me. All that I knew was all the man I had, and I was scared to let you go, even though you treated me bad. And I think a lot of women can relate to those lines.
I like, later on she says, you say I'm nothing without you, but I'm nothing with you. And I feel like that one hits hard, because it's like you're in this shitty relationship and dude's steering you wrong. You'll never be anything without me. And it's like, what am I now, though? Like, I'm not really doing anything.
And you're not treating me with respect now. So what do I have to look forward to?
But that's that psychology of just people getting into people's heads and really making them feel worthless, and that they really do need you.
So she's saying she understands women and how they have to deal with this. And she's saying, she's kind of giving women the confidence to get out of that. And she's saying, I'm here with you. I've been through it. You can get out of it too. And it really made me think why there's not more songs like this from today's female rappers. Obviously, there's Rhapsody, and she does that in a great way. And I love Rhapsody, and I think she should be a lot more popular than she is.
Oh yeah, she's not getting the clout that she deserves, and that really sucks.
And there's probably a variety of reasons for that. Could be her looks. She doesn't have what today's standards are for a woman rapper compared to if you put her next to Cardi B and Nicki Minaj, who have fake everything. And Rhapsody is very much just a normal woman. She doesn't have fake boobs and a fake ass and a small stomach and a small waist with crazy hair. She's just a normal person, but she speaks out about all of this stuff. She's kind of taken the baton, I think, from Queen Latifah more than any other female rapper that I can think of.
I could see that. So yeah, like, I mean, that whole track just jumps around, but just having that unity of, going from, being sexually harassed and assaulted to being in a shitty relationship to also just being called out and having a conflict. So there's a rapper named Yo-Yo that she went back and forth with for a little bit too. And so that's the third verse is a diss towards her, but it's kind of like, who you calling a bitch, like, and then they go back and forth. So there's a diss track where this guy Tweety Bird Loke responded to Queen Latifah with the beat, with her verse of who you calling a bitch. And I have to say, like, the whole track was just whack because he's just calling her. It's just a bunch of name calling. It's not like Jay-Z and Nas where it's also name calling and homophobic slurs and all that. But like they're actually responding to certain things and like jabbing people where it's at. Like this dude is just calling her, like basically going homophobic on her and just saying like, you're just not interested in me because you're into girls or something. And
that's supposed to be a diss.
Yeah, it was just like, it wasn't even a diss. It was just a bunch of like, I'm butthurt for whatever reason. Yeah. So definitely I'll have to look in to see where their beef started. But it was just, the diss track wasn't even worth the time. It was stupid. So, but, she has her ups and downs with relationships. And then she also and this is what I like about this next track, Weekend Love, is that you want to think that like, oh, okay, so this is where you are going to talk about where you just have this fling with people, but still not. So in this track, she's talking about like, hey, you're just a weekend thing. We're nothing serious. But still, like, you have to get on good terms with her to even be at that level. Like, you can't just get, well, she calls it her kitten. Like, you can't just get her kitten super easy.
Yeah.
Even if you are just a weekend fling, like you have to have a connection with her.
Right, exactly. She's kind of carrying on that same message from, the previous songs. And yeah, this is a great song. I love the vibe to it. It's very summery. And I love her singing on this again. And I love the Tony Rebel. I'm assuming he's a reggae artist. I loved his feature and what he brought to it. Brought that flair to it. Yeah, great song. And this is definitely where the album shifts towards the more feminine side of Queen Latifah.
And a different perspective too of like, we have these, I feel like from male rappers, you get the sense of they have a hookup over the weekend and then they don't care. They're doing their other thing. In this track, it's like, I think in the second verse, you start to see her being like, yeah, like I kind of start thinking about what we could be, but you know what? We got too much stuff going on. Like, I'll see you over the weekend.
Yeah. They're busy doing their own thing during the week. And then like, okay, when we have time, we'll see each other, which will be the weekend, which is a healthy relationship. It's like, okay, you live your life. I'm living mine. We'll meet up when we can. Yeah. It's not, the guy saying, bitch, like you need to spend time with me. Like,
oh, like the baby. And then like, I'm just going to blow you up on Twitter. And sleep with 5 other women because you didn't respond.
Right.
It's so whack. But yeah, and like, you just see them like, I like the song. Like I just like how, kind of they're talking about like, man, at the end of the week, third verse, now it's the end of the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, yeah, like I kind of want to just rewind the clock back, but I'll see you next weekend though. Like,
right.
We'll go through the week and do our thing, and I'll see you next weekend.
Yeah.
So I like that track because it's like a friends with benefits vibe, but respectable and chilling.
Yeah. It's laid back, and it could possibly lead to something more, but for now it's just the weekend.
Like if the mood is right, it might lead to something else.
Exactly, if the mood is right.
If the mood is right. So next track, Mood is Right. This is where she meets dude, but still very firm in her values of like, I'm not giving it up until we really strike a connection. Mm-hmm. And so one of her lines is, but I'm the type that thinks that sex is best when you're in love with me than the physical specimen. You got too much love for me to ever need to. So it didn't mean to, I took parts of the song, so they're not supposed to rhyme. But I think that that's cool of like, you got too much love for me to ever need to. Like,
right.
You're really into me, and I can tell that you're not going to cheat. Just like Dude did in a previous track where she found the phone number for Rose. It's like,
right.
we got something going on. And so, yeah, I mean, this is, since it's the second to last song and really the last song to do with love in any form, like you really, at the end of it, you really get this sense that she has a respect for her being and her body. And it's really like, it really is her temple, and you have to be invited.
It's definitely refreshing to hear music like this, in today's day and age. You would think if they were rapping like this in the early 90s that they would have continued it and just built upon it. But we've actually gone in the opposite direction. But yeah, I love the lines in this. I love when she says, so I waited for your heart to get in touch with mine and waited longer just to make sure it was genuine. And now I see you're on the real tip. Baby, I can feel it every time you hold me with a tight grip. It's true. It's all about you. So,
it's very sensual.
Yeah, it's sensual, but it's her respecting herself. She's not just sleeping with a guy just to do it. She's sleeping with him because she's made a connection with him, and she's waited to do it until the connection was genuine, and that she got the right feeling to that it was okay.
The mood was right.
Until the mood was right. And it feels like today it's just like the mood is right all the time with anyone. Like,
it's the mood is right until it's wrong.
Yeah.
Very wrong. And, we're not trying to be on here throwing out conservative views or anything, but it's definitely like, it is different, like, but it's a respectable thing.
Right. No, we're not telling people to be celibate or to only be in relationships. There's nothing wrong with hooking up with people.
But when you have like a high divorce rate and all this stuff, where it's like,
no,
it's nice
I don't care about that. My thing is, if that's all we hear in the music, it's not, what are we really talking about? Like, we're only showcasing one point of view. So when all these kids that are listening to Nicki Minaj and Cardi B, they're not getting a different viewpoint like from a Queen Latifah. We're like, okay, yeah, I can think that way as well. It's not just one way. I just think it's important to have more diversity.
Absolutely.
In mainstream music.
I definitely agree
than
with
what
that.
we currently have.
For sure. And that, I don't know if I want to say that that's kind of the last track, but then the actual last track, Winky's theme, is basically a tribute to her brother that passed away, as we mentioned
And it's
earlier.
a live instrumentation. It's very jazzy. It doesn't fit with the rest of the album.
I wasn't going to say that, but I agree with it. Yeah.
But I like that it's there. I'm glad that it's there.
Yeah.
I wasn't mad at it. It didn't put me. I actually was like, damn, I could use the whole album of this. I think that would be dope if Queen Latifah did that, of just live instrumentation, jazzy raps.
It reminds me of Erykah Badu's live for Baduism. Have you heard the live version?
I've heard tracks from it. I haven't heard the whole thing.
It's great. My mom used to play it, like, just have it on repeat, so I have it ingrained. But it's a good album. It's good to have these types of, these live sessions and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
and listening to it, I was just like, wow, she's really talented, because she was singing and rapping, and yeah, to be able to do that, I think is incredible. And then you think about the whole album and you're like, wow, she wrote all of that and had incredible flow, and she showed her different skill sets of she can write songs battle rapping, she can write songs with content and with something to say, and she writes love songs.
And she was involved in the production of this track too.
Right. Wow. Yeah. It's just crazy.
She's super talented, and definitely you gotta put respect on her name.
Yeah.
For sure, without question. So, but yeah, man, that's Black Reign. That's Queen Latifah's Black Reign.
Mm-hmm. Amazing album. I mean, I think you have to call it a classic at this point. I would, for me.
By definition, it would be too. 20 years.
And I think this was her most successful album.
I think
when it came out.
I think so. I was trying to see the other ones, and this one did get a lot. It's her third album, but it's the first one with a new record label.
Right. I think this one was on Motown.
Mm-mm.
No?
Mm-mm. I think the fourth or fifth one was. I could be wrong. But, yeah, man. I don't know. Overall, what'd you think? Who are you playing this for, and where are you playing it? When are you playing it?
I think this is a dope album. I would play this for... I mean, I would definitely play this at my house, chilling. Maybe if I'm having a few people over. I think it's a cool album to have in the background. It sounds dope. Like, if you're into 90s hip-hop, this is a dope album to put on.
It even ages well despite it being 90s. Like, if you want to talk about Tupac's album and, like, say it didn't age well, like, based off the production and the beats, you can make an argument for that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this album
this one
it's slower, but it still fits in well with today.
Absolutely. I agree with that. I would also play this for someone who, if they ask me, hey, I want to get into just like boom bap classic hip hop, this would definitely be an album I would throw in there, because I think it's good to represent female MCs, because Queen Latifah had a huge part in hip hop for a long time. So I think it would be important to throw this in there.
I agree with that. Yeah, it's definitely a classic album, and it's one where, you know, it makes you want to check out her previous work and future
and
work.
I could see how a young person today, you know, if all they know is Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, I don't even know who another famous female rap, Meg the Stallion. If that's all they know, I don't know if they would be okay with this type of music.
I think
they would be like, this is boring. Or
if you marinated in this decade's hip hop of the last 5 years, I don't think you're gonna rewind the clock back for this album.
Yeah,
I don't think you will. There's just too much. It just feels like an overgeneralization, but I feel like there's too much content to want to go back, and it's not the type of like hype beats that you're looking forward to just, you know, party to and everything like that.
Right.
It doesn't fit that mold.
But yeah, I think it's a timeless album. I'm glad this one came up.
Yeah, it didn't. It came up.
I'm glad you chose it.
Came up randomly. So
I wasn't part of the random process. So
you were out, so then you criticized it. You fuck. So, but yeah, I think that concludes.
Yeah, that's
this week's album.
That's Queen Latifah's Black Reign. That's her rap thoughts on the album.
Those are the rap thoughts.
Yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you for following us on Spotify and subscribing to Apple Podcasts. Definitely check out our YouTube page if you haven't. We have video clips on there from the episode, so you can actually see us and you're not just hearing our voice. And we actually do put the full episodes on YouTube if you prefer that. So definitely check out our YouTube page.
Yeah, if you watch the YouTube one, you can see how Matt decides to dye a part of his hair, not the whole thing. It's very stupid. So,
oh man, we'll get into that one day, but it's not dyed.
It's pretty dyed. He's definitely on that Rogaine shit.
Oh man, you're starting the rumors already.
I'll just do a part of it. So,
all right, peace.
Bye.